Okay, let me just add these people. Fix the settings.
And also,
First, you need to go to the gym.
yes, allow them to unmute themselves if they want to ask questions online.
Okay.
So, it should be
Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, Jazakumullah. Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and start. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد. Inshallah, today we'll discuss the masail of fasting. Just as it is important to know the fada'il, the virtues of something, it is also important to know the masail, the rules and regulations of that particular action. Because if we don't know these things, what's going to happen unknowingly? We're going to break our fast. The month of Ramadan is approaching. Therefore, we have to prepare ourselves spiritually and also prepare ourselves in terms of ilm, knowledge. Many a time people, they do something and they ruin their fast. They make so much effort, but due to negligence, due to carelessness, a person, they lose the rewards of their fast. And not knowing is not an excuse. Some people say, but oh, I didn't know. Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala has given us so many means to learn. We just have to take that opportunity and avail it. Just like we don't make excuses when it comes to not knowing how to drive. If we tell the police officer, sorry, officer, I didn't know that this was illegal, he's going to say, how did you get your driver's license that you're driving in such a manner? Similarly, we won't be excused for not knowing these masail of deen. It is fardul ayn for us. It is necessary for us. Fardul ayn means it is necessary on every Muslim individual, both male and female, to learn masail of this nature. It's not something that is optional. Nowadays, people, they treat the regular school like fardul ayn. They go to school, they learn about biology. Of course, some things will be beneficial and many things will be unbeneficial, but they treat that as if it's fardul ayn. You ask a child, what are the different species of lions out there? This type of lion in Africa, this type of lion in that country, the different types of squirrels out there, different species. What are you going to do with that? You're going to do absolutely nothing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made this dua, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min ilmin la yanfa'. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from knowledge that doesn't benefit me. Majority of the ilm that is taught in the world today, it's unbeneficial. If a person says, oh, what's the big deal? What's the harm in it? You see, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he considers to be so harmful and so detrimental to a person that he sought refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal from such ilm. Unbeneficial knowledge, it brings darkness to the heart. One time, Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah, a great scholar, Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he dedicated his whole life to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, and he passed away in his 40s, more or less. His whole life. He didn't even get married. That's how dedicated it was to serving the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, writing, teaching. And one time he decided to go into the field of medicine, which is good. It's a beneficial field. Don't get me wrong. This is not to look down on other fields out there. We need all of those, of course. But to tell you the barakat in the nur of the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah, it cannot come, that ilm, which is other than the Quran and Sunnah, it cannot compare with the ilm of the Quran and Sunnah. The ilm of the Quran and Sunnah, this is the knowledge which should be our objective, our ultimate goal. So when he began studying other sciences such as medicine, he said, I felt a darkness in my heart. I felt the darkness in my heart. Then he closed his books, he put it aside, he said, I'm not going to go in this far, I'm going to focus on my dini studies. Again, this is not to look down on other sciences. Certain sciences that are benefit, they have great benefit. Medicine is very important. But to show you the love of nur, the ilm of Quran and Sunnah has, no other knowledge can compare to it. With that said, those who are able to view these slides over here, we're going to study about the rules and regulations of fasting, the first title, the first slide, it says what breaks one's fast. Number one, the general rule is that if anything reaches the stomach or if sexual desires are completely fulfilled, then the fast breaks. This can be through any of the body cavities such as the mouth, nose, or private parts, food, drink, and suppositories. In summary, anything that reaches the stomach through any of the gateways, whether it's the nose, whether it's through the mouth, whether a person, he takes a suppository. Suppositories are those types of medicines, mazirat kesat, those types of medicines that are in solid form. They're inserted through the female private organ or the male or a male or female's rectum. These things, they will invalidate the fast. Similarly, anything that reaches the brain directly, it goes directly to the brain and the brain receives nourishment, that would also invalidate the fast. So if a person, that's going to come up later, certain things, they go indirectly to the stomach and indirectly to the brain. Those things which are indirect, they won't invalidate the fast. Directly, yes. For example, some people, they have head injuries. The scholars of the past, they mentioned, if there's an opening to the brain and then a person were to put medicine in that brain, into his head, and it will go directly to his brain, his fast will break. Similarly, a person has a stomach injury, where a person, if they were to put medicine inside of that hole, the medicine will reach directly to the stomach, that fast will become invalid. So remember this. If you remember this simple principle, anything that reaches your stomach directly, your brain directly, it will invalidate the fast. There are two types of rulings regarding broken fasts. First type, those that only need a makeup, qada. In other words, you don't have to do anything else besides qada. Because we're going to talk about a second type which requires qada and something else. Number two, those that need a makeup fast and a penalty. This is called kafara, 60 days fast consecutively. So for example, if a person were to necessitate kafara upon himself, along with his qada fast, which is one, he has to fast an extra 60 days consecutively without any break in between. Because if he stops in between, say he cannot do it any longer, he said, I'm going to take a 1-day break, then he has to start all the way from the beginning. That's how kafara works. So screen sharing is paused again. I think we should just leave the screen sharing, huh? Yeah, otherwise this is not going to work.
Might be your computer is just bugging out. Let's try again.
So we have people online, that's the reason why we have to, otherwise I would have ditched the internet. People are online, that's the see screenshots. Something's wrong with it.
Resume this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not working. I think we should just ditch it, huh? It's gonna keep on going back and forth, back and forth. We'll just share the slides, okay, on the group. Anybody that needs it, they can go on the group, okay? Yeah, the link too. Inshallah should be just, I think we should just take notes. Inshallah, it will be available afterwards, inshallah, okay?
But the meeting is still going, so you can just talk in.
Yeah, we'll just talk. Yeah, forget about this share screen. It's gonna take forever. Okay, Bismillah. All right, students, the slides will be available. Just take notes in the meantime. Those who are online, those are in person too. You can take notes. Okay. No, never happens. Just today. Okay. Bismillah. All right, so even the computer is not even working. Let's just go ahead and I'm just going to use my phone for now. Sorry about that, students. Okay, let's go ahead and begin. Okay, so students, we'll go ahead and begin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem, amma ba'd. All right, so okay, next. When making up a fast is only needed. When making up a fast is only needed. The students are still online, right? If a person eats or drinks accidentally while knowing of the fast, her fast will break and will have to do only qada. What this means is, say for example, you're aware of your fast. One is called khata in Arabic, one is called nisyan. Khata means you are fully conscious that you are fasting, but mistakenly, accidentally, you, for example, swallow water when you're gargling. This is called khata'an. You're fully aware that you're fasting, but you make a mistake. You make a mistake. Accidentally, the water goes down your throat or something else. So this is called khata'an. Only qada is necessary. Remember, the kafara is a punishment for purposely breaking your fast. So you guys understand the difference between khata and nisyan? I want you guys to understand two terminologies in Arabic. Khata, you're fully aware, conscious, and then you break your fast. Nisyan, you're unaware that you're fasting. You see a person, he's eating, he doesn't even know that he's fasting. This is called nisyan. None of this affects your fast. There's no harm done to your fast. So these are the two differences I want you guys to understand. Also, putting oil or medicine into the ear. This is, remember, oil or medicine, not water. Oil or medicine, if it goes into the ear, if a person directly puts it, then this will also invalidate the fast. Inhaling snuff or medicine into the nostrils. Because you see, all of these things, they have direct connection to what? To the brain or to the stomach. So what's going to happen? It will invalidate the fast. Swallowing blood from the mouth if there is more blood than saliva. Remember this key point here, more blood than the saliva. This will invalidate the fast as well. Next, to eat or drink, having forgotten that one is fasting, and thereafter mistakenly thinking that the fast has broken, then to eat and drink again. What does this mean? A person, he is eating and drinking forgetfully, nisyanan. He doesn't know that he's a fasting person. He's eating and he's eating and he's eating, and then later on he finds out that, oh, I'm fasting. Even though in reality his fast is okay, nothing has happened to it. But he thought that because of me eating forgetfully, my fast is broken. So then he goes and eats again. This will invalidate his fast and he has to do the qada. Next, to eat and drink after Fajr comes in, or to break the fast before Maghrib mistakenly, due to a cloudy sky or a faulty watch, and then realizing one's fault. What this means, students, is it's Fajr time. You're eating your suhoor. You think, oh, it's still suhoor time. Suhoor time has still not ended. He's eating and he's eating. Later on, he finds out, oh, that was eating during Fajr time. Only you have to do qada. Or for example, say it's still Asr time. You're looking outside, you're like, okay, it looks like Maghrib. I'm pretty sure it's Maghrib. It has to be Maghrib. Or let's say his app was wrong. Something was wrong with his watch or with his app. Something went wrong over there. He later finds out that he made a wrong judgment. In that case, his fast will be invalid. However, he will only make qada, no kafar. And I would like to turn the attention of the students to a very important point. Nowadays, if you go to different masajid, they don't take precaution when it comes to the Ramadan schedule. The Salat schedule in general, they know. But if you look here, over here, alhamdulillah, we added 3 minutes to Maghrib. 3 minutes. And for every Salat, you should add a few minutes to be on the safe side. People, they make an argument, again, this is based on their ignorance. They think they understand the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. They say, but the hadith mentions that we have to do isti'jal, we have to hasten the iftar. We have to hasten. This doesn't mean that when your schedule says that that Maghrib time enters at 6 p.m., I'm right on the dot 6 p.m., I'm going to break it. This is not the meaning of hadith. The meaning of hadith is that you don't delay it so much where it becomes dark where you can see the stars. You have to read the whole entire hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Not that it's okay to wait a few minutes to be on the safe side, wait 3 to 5 minutes. This doesn't go against the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. You're doing it out of precaution, not for the sake of delaying your ibadah, delaying the fast of Ramadan. I hope everyone understands that important point. So it's okay, delay 3-5 minutes, be on the safe side. Many masajid, they make this mistake. Many masajid. They give the adhan right on the dot and iqama right after. The prayer, regarding the validity of that prayer, it comes under question. Is that prayer valid or not? That they're praying so quickly. So this is why it's important to learn these things. This is a religious matter. A person has to look at it from an academic perspective. Is what they're doing, is it according to fiqh or is it against fiqh or not? These things have to be kept in mind. So make sure that you add 3 to 5 minutes to your app, whatever you're using. Preferably, this is a good app. Masha has a lot of settings. The Masjidi app is very good. I recommend that. Also, Adhan app, Islamic Finder. That's a very good app. You can change the settings, you can fix it and adjust it. And also, it's not mentioned here, but I'll mention it anyway. In Ramadan, I encourage and I exhort the brothers and sisters, go according to 18 degrees. Go according to 18 degrees for your iftar. No, sorry, for your suhoor. That's the more safe route. Even though there's a difference of opinion, 15 degrees means how many degrees low is the sun from the horizon. So some scholars say that Fajr enters at 18 degrees. So you can see it's going to be like right here, for example, 15 degrees is a little bit higher. So that means what? That means that the 15 degrees, Fajr is going to come in at a later time. So many ulama, they went and they observed this. They came to these 2 different conclusions. This is an area of contention. This is an area of difference of opinion. So the safer route in these circumstances is to go with the safer opinion. It's just a 18 to 20 minute difference. It's okay, stop your food, 20 minutes. Nothing's going to happen. You'll be all right. It's just 15, 20 minutes, it's okay. Stop your food a little bit early. And then you won't have to worry, you have a peace of mind. You'll have that sukoon and tranquility. Okay, my fast is okay, nothing's wrong with it. All right, so I hope everyone understood that point. We should stick to the safer opinion and not try to find concessions for ourselves. Even though there is leeway in following that opinion, but what is the safer route? The safer route, we can all agree, is going with the 18 degrees. Same thing with Salatul Isha, 18 degrees is at a later time. But you see the difference with Salatul Isha is that even if you were to pray in 15 degrees, there are opinions to back that up within the Hanafi madhab. I don't want to go into a lot of difference of opinion, but there is scope for 15 and 18. But for Fajr, no one says that it's okay to eat during Fajr time. There's no scope to allow such a thing, to allow eating during Fajr time. So therefore, it's best to stick to the safer opinion. When is kafara needed? Qada and kafara. If a person purposely breaks their fast in Ramadan without a valid reason through eating, drinking, or engaging in intercourse, then they will have to make up qada and kafara. 61 fasts in total. On purpose, deliberately, if a person were to eat, drink, or involve themselves in relations, then this will necessitate the kafara. Because this person, he disrespected the holiness of this month. He infringed and violated the sanctity of the month of Ramadan. That's why there's only kafara in the month of Ramadan. If you break any other fast outside Ramadan, a nafil fast, a wajib fast, a qada fast, there's no kafara. Even that qada fast is fard, you have to make it up. So you're making it up outside of Ramadan. However, there's no kafara if you break the qada fast, because the kafara is for violating the sanctity and the holiness of the month of Ramadan. This is how great this month is, that kafara becomes necessary for disrespecting this month. So that's with regards to kafara. A little bit more detail about kafara: eating, drinking, smoking, also smoking cigarettes. Person smokes cigarettes during the month of Ramadan in the daytime. They smoke hashish, they smoke hookah, all these different things. They're taking enjoyment. The body is gaining some type of benefit and nourishment. Of course, it's very bad for one's health, but they're still attaining some type of nourishment and benefit. This will also invalidate the fast and necessitate the kafara. What is kafara? Kafara is 60 days fasting consecutively. If a person is unable to do that, say due to chronic illness or old age, then in that case, they can feed 60 poor people 2 meals a day, which will satiate and satisfy them. Or they can feed one person 2 meals for 60 days. One person, 2 meals for 60 days. This is the kafara in brief. Of course, there are other details. You might want to take another route. You might want to do something else. You might not be sure about something else might come to your head. Then in that case, consult your local ulama. Inshallah, they will provide you with answers. This discussion of kafara is extremely detailed, very long. This is just a few things. This is just wetting the feet in the ocean. There are so many other masail connected to it. So inshallah, if you have anything that relates to you, either during the month of Ramadan or after, you want to know about it, inshallah, you can ask that. A case study: a person intentionally breaks their fast 3 times in the month of Ramadan. Now, what do you have to do? Do you have to do 3 kafaras, 180? The answer is no. Only 1 qada. You have to do qada for the 3 fasts, of course, 1, 2, 3, and 1 kafara for those 3 fasts broken within the month of Ramadan. The whole kafara will cover all of those broken fasts that were broken purposely. Therefore, he will fast 3 days for intentionally breaking those fasts and give 1 kafara. Remember, 1 kafara per Ramadan. Again, if you're going through, hopefully not, if you or you know someone, they go through a unique situation, please consult the ulama and see what do I have to do in this situation. But generally, the rule is 1 kafara per Ramadan. Things that do not break the fast: to eat or drink while not remembering that one is fasting. So we discussed that in detail. Nisyanan, a person is unaware of their fast and they're eating and they're drinking, nothing is going to happen to their fast. Unintentionally having a mosquito, fly, or any other similar object go down the throat. A person, he's just sitting, a fly goes in his mouth, down his throat. These things can happen. This will break the fast. No, sorry, it will not break the fast, nor will it necessitate kafara. Remember, this is unintentional. If he intentionally swallows a fly or a mosquito, obviously then he has to do the qada, not kafara. Why? Because these things are not generally eaten. Flies and these things, objects that these are objects that people, they don't usually eat. Dust or dirt unintentionally going down the throats. Water entering the ears. A person goes swimming, they take a shower, water goes down the ears. This won't affect the fast. Swallowing one's own saliva will not affect the fast. Taking an injection. A lot of people ask about the COVID vaccine. Will this break my fast or not? This will not affect the fast. Can anybody remember the rule why? Yeah, I mean, it does affect the brain in a way, right? But it doesn't go directly to the brain. It goes through the bloodstream and spreads throughout the body. It doesn't go directly to the brain or directly to the stomach. Therefore, nothing will happen to its fast because of the injection. Now, a person might ask, can I take IV during Ramadan? Will this affect would it affect the fast or no? It will? Are you sure about that?
Because you can feel it. Energetic.
Anybody else? IV. This is a trick, right? You just want to relax Ramadan, just attach the IV bus.
Visine, your eyes get itchy and then you put Visine.
Yeah. Visine, we're going to come to that, but that doesn't affect the fast. Because it's not going directly to the brain. It's not going directly to the stomach. No problem. IV?
The intention of.
IV, obviously, so IV, again, it falls under the same category. It doesn't go directly to the brain, nor does it go directly to the stomach. It goes through your bloodstream and then it gives you nourishment. However, this is definitely makruh. It's a dislike thing to do because it goes totally against the spirit of Ramadan, the purpose of Ramadan. The purpose of Ramadan is so that you gain taqwa. You feel your body weak. You don't have the desire to do certain things that entail disobedience of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, when you are giving yourself all this energy, it defeats the whole purpose. You're supposed to be imitating the angels right now, who do not eat, who do not sleep. You should be imitating them, but you're over here taking all of this IV, you're gaining all of this strength. Now you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So in that case, definitely it's something that's disliked. A person should not do it. You see, that's why it's important to have knowledge of fiqh, knowledge of Quran, knowledge of Sunnah, knowledge of Tariq, knowledge of tasawwuf, spirituality. Because if you just focus on fiqh, one thing, this fiqh can be a means of your misguidance. And many people have been misguided like that. They're like, oh, don't you know there's one sheikh says like this and there's a fatwa like this, but it doesn't break your fast, so it's okay. This is what happens when a person just focuses on one thing and neglects everything else. That ilm can be a means of their deviation.
The IV you mentioned, is it glucose IV or something
I mean, anything. Like the one that's, I mean, I'm not an expert in this. You guys will know more than myself. That thing that people take because they're unable to eat, so they receive nourishment through the IV.
Glucose directly goes to brain.
And directly goes to the brain.
Directly goes to
Okay.
the fuel of the brain.
Yes.
Is glucose.
Okay.
Entire body can survive on fat,
Yeah.
but brain needs glucose especially.
Okay.
Even if you have not eaten for such long,
Yes.
your fat get converted to glucose, and then with respect to your mind.
Okay.
And if you take glucose,
Yes.
it directly goes to the brain.
Okay. Interesting.
Right.
Okay, interesting. I don't know much about that. But yes, regarding the IV, as we know, when people go to the ER, Allah save ourselves and our family members. When a person goes to the ER and then they're unable to eat, so they apply the IV to the individual. So in that case, the fuqaha, they mentioned the latter day fuqaha, of course, because back then they didn't have this issue, that this person's fast will not be invalidated. However, this is definitely something that is makruh and disliked. Okay, let's finish this section off.
There are some
Yeah.
inhalers.
Yeah.
There are some inhalers.
Uh-huh.
There are some, chest rubs.
Yeah.
Which just give you a sensation, changes the
Yeah.
sensation.
Uh-huh.
Makes you feel better.
Okay.
Is that something which is makruh?
You mean like Vicks?
Vicks? Yes.
Vicks. It doesn't have Vicks, it doesn't have a solid body to a physical body, does it? Yeah, but it doesn't, incense, the bukhur has a solid form to it, a physical body. And then obviously that will invalidate the fast, something such as smoke. But I don't think Vicks is like that. It's more like vapors, right? Oil, right? There's no physical body going into your nose, right?
Okay, so before like
So it's like ether, yeah, it's like ether, yeah. Yeah, so as long as no physical body is going into your nose or your mouth, you're okay. You don't have to worry about it. The Vicks it just has a very strong smell, like an onion. Onion causes your eyes to water, but it's not something that it will invalidate the fast. Yes.
Yeah, at the time I'm sticking it swollen water, the swollen water. You mean the food, keep it in the little
If you put water in your mouth.
if I in the mouthwash,
Uh-huh.
so if you do that, I will I put in the mouth with the water.
Yeah.
And mistaken I swollen the mouth. So what will happen?
Yeah, so like we mentioned earlier, if you mistakenly swallow the water, say you're rinsing your mouth. You're rinsing your mouth, this will, if the water goes down your throat, it'll invalidate the fast. Because when you're doing wudu, you're aware of you fasting, right? You're aware of yourself fasting. So this will break the fast. But no kafara, only qada. Because you made a mistake. You understand what I'm saying? But if you're totally unaware, you don't believe that you're fasting. You're unaware that you're fasting. Forgetful. And then you drink even if you drink the water, nothing's gonna happen. You guys understand? So this is when you're aware of your fast and you make a mistake. But keep in mind, brothers and sisters, when you do the rinsing of the mouth, then ensure the madmada is called in Arabic. When you do the madmada, don't do mubalagha in Ramadan. Outside of Ramadan, mubalagha means you exaggerate. This is sunnat outside of Ramadan. And then you gargle it. This is sunnat outside of Ramadan. Inside of Ramadan, avoid doing it. Both in ghusl and both in wudu. Hope that makes sense. Many people, they have this misunderstanding. They think that in fard ghusl, they think that it's necessary to do mubalagha in their madmada. And then what do? They end up breaking their fast. You don't have to do it. Mubalagha is necessary out for al-ghusl al-fard. Al-ghusl al-mafrud, the necessary ghusl is necessary to do madmada with mubalagha. With mubalagha outside of Ramadan for fard ghusl. You understand? In Ramadan, you do not do mubalagha. No exaggeration. Just get the as much as you can without risking your fast of the mouth. Applying kuhul to the eyes. Kuhul in Urdu, they say surma. In English, they say antimony. This will not invalidate the fast. Some people, they ask this question, but I get blackness in my saliva after using kuhul. Or a brother asked about the eye drops. You sometimes feel something sour and bitter in your saliva after using eye drops. This will not affect your fast. Why? Because there's no pathway from the eyes directly to the stomach into the brain. Taking a shower to keep cool, this will also not break the fast. We're continuing on those things that do not invalidate the fast. Rubbing lotion or oil onto the body or hair. To vomit unintentionally. Remember, keyword unintentionally. Because the rule slightly differs when you deliberately cause yourself to vomit. Applying fragrance, it is not permitted to inhale the smoke of incense whilst fasting. So applying fragrance doesn't break your fast. We know that. Itr. No problem. However, lighting the oud and the bakhur, it is not permissible to inhale that. It is also not permitted to smoke cigarettes or inhale its smoke. When you deliberately inhale the bakhur, this will invalidate the fast. Now, whether that causes kafara or not, wallahu alam, we have to double check that. But cigarettes do entail kafara if you deliberately inhale cigarette smoke. But what if you're walking and people are smoking? You have no choice you have no choice with regards to that. Your fast will be intact, it will be valid, and you don't have to worry about qada and kafar. This happens a lot. You're walking and people are smoking, or people are lighting bukhur. This will not affect your fast. Brushing the teeth without using toothpaste. So if you're just using the brush, then it's fine. The issue with toothpaste is, let's just say, for argument's sake, a person can brush their teeth using toothpaste without getting the flavor to go down their throat into their stomach. If you can use toothpaste in such a manner that you're able to take out all of the flavor from your mouth, which I think is going to be extremely difficult and it's going to require a lot of time. So a person brushes their teeth and then they're rinsing their mouth like 50 times. They get all of the flavor out, then the fast will not be affected. Your fast will be valid. But the wise thing to do, just do it during suhoor time. Brush your teeth during suhoor time. Why put your fast in jeopardy? Why put your fast at risk by doing such a thing? And it's not a good thing to do because you're risking your fast. It's something that is disliked, that you're putting something of flavor in your mouth. And there's no necessity. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the miswak, a great sunnat of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We need to revive the sunnat of miswak. And I'm telling myself, first and foremost, do I have a miswak with me? It's a reminder for all of us, we should always have a miswak with us at all times. This is from the sunnats of wudu. The sunnats of wudu. Imagine. Such a great sunnat of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should always have a miswak handy. Having a wet dream, this will not invalidate the fast either. And similarly, let's say, for example, if a man or a woman, they wake up in the morning in the state of janaba, in the state of major ritual impurity, and they start their fast in that manner, this will not invalidate their fast. Their fast is valid. Of course, they have to have intention. You guys study this with Sheikh Shalman, the intention and everything. But if a person prior to the morning, they were in the state of major ritual impurity, it will not affect their fast. More things that do not break the fast: taking insulin, nicotine patches, lip balm. However, the lip balm should not be such that it mixes with your saliva and the flavor goes down your throat. For example, there's a flavor, those flavored lip balms, and then it mixes with the saliva and then he swallows it. This is something that a person should avoid. Eye drops or ear drops, we already discussed that. Eye drops or ear drops. Wearing contact lenses, these also obviously they don't break the fast. Blood tests, they don't harm the fast either. People exempted from fasting. Yes. What was that? Eardrops, there is a difference of opinion. I didn't want to go into that. The classical scholars, they do say that medicine and oil, these things, they do break the fast. But then latter-day scholars, they did research and they said that there's no connection, direct connection between the brain and the ear. So there's a difference of opinion, but to be on the safe side, it's best to avoid eardrops as well. But what's mentioned here, this is the opinion of the latter-day scholars. They've based on new scientific research, etc. Remember, when it comes to fiqh, when there are certain masail that are based on research, those things can change. You understand? I hope everyone understood this point. For example, like this example here. What's the connection between the brain and the ear? What's the connection between the brain and the ear? Is there any direct pathway that leads there or no? Or in recent times, there's a debate about animal rennet. Animal rennet. Does animal rennet, which is in the stomach of an animal, does it mix with blood and other things or not? Therefore, is the animal of a non-zabiha animal allowed? There's a difference of opinion. You have all of this cheese out there, it's made from rennet. So what if the animal is a non-zabiha animal? Can you consume that type of cheese? So there's a difference of opinion, animal rennet. So some scholars say that, hey, the previous scholars, they got it wrong. research shows that there is contact between the blood and the animal rennet, the enzymes. Therefore, we cannot take it. So these are areas where scholars differ. It's not written on stone that it has to be like this. Oh, why is he choosing this opinion over that opinion? There's scope for these types of differences. Where there's not scope when something is clear cut. حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ. Allah says dead meat is haram for you. Clear, there's no difference of opinion. But there are some gray areas where there's scope for differences. People exempted from fasting. A sick person whose health is likely to be badly affected by fasting. He should make up the loss a day for a day once he recovers after the month of Ramadan. So he has a strong, dominant assumption that if I were to fast, it's going to harm my health. I cannot fast. Either he knows from previous experiences, or a pious Muslim doctor tells him that it's better for you not to fast. This is going to be harmful for you. Why I say pious Muslim doctor? The fuqaha, they actually mention this in the books of fiqh. Tabibun Muslimun hadiqun. It can't be any doctor. Why? Because non-Muslims, they don't care about a fast. They just say, no, just don't fast, it's okay. Just do it some other time. So when seeking medical advice for Islamic injunctions, Islamic obligations, you have to seek medical advice from a pious Muslim doctor. His opinion will be taken. When it comes to, am I exempted from fasting? Am I not exempted from fasting? You can rely. So the doctor is the mufti in that case. You guys follow? But it has to be a pious, talented Muslim doctor, not some random guy that he's unaware of what he's doing. He has to be a Muslimun hadiqun, talented, skillful, and a Muslim as well. And someone that's just, he cares about fasting. He understands the importance of fasting. If he's for example, sinful, he's Muslim, but he's sinful, fasting. He doesn't care about Islam. Let's just do it some other time. You don't have to worry about this. But the pious Muslim doctor, he's keeping akhirat in mind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in mind, that fasting is very important. We have to try whatever we can to fast. Look for different ways to make this fast happen. And if everything else fails, then I'll tell him, okay, look, you shouldn't be fasting. It's better for you to, it's going to be very harmful for you if you fast. So then he can act upon his advice. Traveler. A traveler who is undertaking a journey of more than 48 miles and doesn't intend to stay at his destination for longer than 14 days. Traveling 48 miles. When the fuqaha mentioned 48 miles, it's talking about 48 shar'i miles. There's a difference between Arabic miles and English miles. 48 miles, when it's mentioned in the books, this is in the latter-day fatwa. Back then, they didn't use miles. They will use different types of measurements, farsakh and other things as well. They would say 3 days and 3 nights, 3 days journey, 3 days, 3 nights journey. But how do you calculate that? How do you measure that in miles? So the latter-day scholars, they measured it and they came up with 48 miles. But remember, that's Arabic miles, shar'i miles. As for English miles, when you and I type something on Google Maps or Waze, those are English miles. So that will convert it into 55 miles. I hope everyone understood that point. 55 miles. And when do you calculate it? You calculate it from where you're located right now. So for example, I'm traveling from Fremont. I live in Fremont in my house. I'm traveling to, let's say, Sacramento. I'm going to calculate it from where I am to where I'm going, my destination. Many people, they calculate it from city limit to city limit. The books of fiqh don't mention city limit to city limit. You start praying half when you cross your city limits. You start doing qasr when you pass your city limit. You don't start praying half when you're sitting at home. Oh, I intend to travel to Sacramento. Therefore, I'm going to start praying half right now in the comfort of my home. You make the intention, along with intention, your intention is coupled with action. Once you cross the city limit, now you're considered to be musafir. You can go and pray. But you calculate it. For example, let's just say for argument's sake, even though this is not true, this is not accurate. let's just say the distance between the city limit of Fremont to Sacramento was 40 miles. But from where I'm going, from my house to where that masjid I'm going to Sacramento is like 60 miles. Am I a traveler or no? Again, city limit to city limit, Fremont to Sacramento. For argument's sake, it's not true, obviously, just for the sake of example. From city limit to city limit, where it says the city limits of Fremont, the boundary of Fremont. You calculate it from there all the way to Sacramento, where it says Sacramento city limits. It's only like 40 miles, for example. Do you have to pray half or do you pray in full? But from where you're located to the masjid you're going to in Sacramento, it's like 60 miles, way over Musafir distance. So you go by where you're located to where you're going. That's your calculation. But you start praying half when you cross the city limit. When you cross the city limit, now you start praying half. I hope everyone understood. Another important point. A lot of people, they mess up on this. A lot of people. They're traveling out of state in the month of Ramadan. First and foremost, we should try to restrict our travels. We should focus on our ibadah. Don't travel unnecessarily. It's a time to connect with Allah Azza wa Jal, read the Quran, make dhikr, learn ilm, do i'tikaf, etc. This is what it's for. This is the time for that. But let's say, for argument's sake, a person, he is traveling in the month of Ramadan and he studies this masala. He says, I'm a traveler, let me break my fast. He started his travel, he's in Fremont, and then he goes to SFO, he crosses the city limits, and he's like, I'm traveling anyway, let me just break my fast. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Traveler means you enter into the morning while being in the state of travel. You're considered to be a musafir when you enter into the morning. You're not considered to be a musafir if you're still sitting at home in the morning. Once the morning has reached you and you're in the comforts of your own home, the fard fast became necessary for you. You have to finish it now. You have to finish it. If you want to avoid fasting, one loophole, one alternative is commence your journey before Fajr time enters. So for example, if I'm traveling to Texas from California, I make my ticket in such a way that I'm going to leave the city limits of Fremont before Fajr time enters. Like literally like 2-3 minutes before. The Fard fast reached you. The morning entered upon you when you were in a state of travel. Therefore, you don't have to make intention of fasting on that particular day. Why? Because when the last moments of suhoor, they were in. You were outside of Fremont. You were a traveler. So you decided not to make intention of fasting once you were considered to be a traveler. That's okay. I hope that makes sense. You didn't understand? Let me repeat it.
So to finish that, if I start, suppose my flight is 4 p.m.
Yeah.
and I wake up my home, I have to catch flight. I cannot just leave in the morning. So if I start fasting, I have to finish fasting.
If you started fasting in Fremont?
Yeah, I live in Fremont.
Yeah.
And I'm traveling today. And I have a flight at 4 p.m. But now, because the fast has further on me, I start the fast because I'm at home. So my flight is at 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. You have to fast. Because you woke up in the morning in Fremont, right? You're not a musafir. For the leeway and the concession for the traveling person not to fast, this is when you enter into the morning in the state of travel. This in suhoor time, you're a traveler, for example, the last moments, you enter into the morning when you're a traveler. You're already in Texas, for example. You're there for like 3 days, 4 days. You have the permission to not make intention of fast. That makes sense. I hope it makes sense then. Again, if you wake up in the morning here, you have to fast. You cannot, just because you're traveling, your flight's at 4 p.m., you cannot break your fast though. You have to, because
Finish also.
what does Allah say? فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Whoever witnesses the month, let him fast. You witness the month in the state of being a muqim, a resident, so you have to.
What about if my flight is at 8 a.m.?
If your flight is at 8 a.m., so let's say Fajr time enters at 6 a.m. You woke up in the morning in Fremont, right? 6 a.m. becomes necessary. If you want to avoid it, if you really want to avoid it, you need to make things easier for yourself. Of course, you're not trying to avoid it, ibadah, but you just want to make things easier. It's going to be difficult for you, for example. Then what you can do, leave a little bit early from your house. Leave, for example, start driving at 5 a.m. Start driving 5 a.m. You cross the borders of Fremont. Don't make intention of fasting the following day. Plus. You're okay. Because you're a traveler. For a traveler, fasting is not necessary. You guys following? I hope that makes sense.
Because sometimes traveling it is difficult to fast.
Yeah. So this is a method and this is a solution. Just leave a little bit early.
What is I have something for like for example,
Uh-huh.
I go to party, book that somewhere else. There. So although from here, some buses for party, from the pipeline, global pipeline, big pipelines that I can cover.
Okay. The routes are different, right? Meaning you're going to San Francisco, then Berkeley, then okay. This is a good question. Remind me, inshallah, next class, inshallah. I will have to double check this. Remind me for next class, inshallah. What was that?
You're taking the next class?
I'm not sure. I probably yes. Mashallah, Sheikh Salman, he had a child recently. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them, make the child pious, remember him in your du'as and the family. So I will be covering for him briefly until he's back, inshallah. So if you could remind me, and inshallah we can address that. That's a good question. Like a person's basically going in circles, right? Or not necessarily in circles, but in a loop, yes. Okay. And this just came to my mind. It's a very relevant issue. Say you're traveling from here to Dubai, and the time is coming very, very fast. Very, very fast. So what do you do in that case?
Reverse.
Yeah, reverse, yes. Yes, that's reverse. It's tough, isn't it? So in that case, you follow your local time. You follow your local time. So if you look outside the airplane, it's dark, Maghrib time entered, then you can break your fast. Even though like
Also the local time, like
local time is fine, yes.
where I am, literally.
Yes.
Local time when flight means local time of business. So
Yeah, wherever you are locally. So if you witnessed it's Maghrib, you can break your fast. Now it gets confusing when you're coming back and it's just day throughout, right? For Salat it becomes easy. But what do you do with regards to fasting? So again, that becomes very, very difficult. In that case, again, if you're traveling, try your best to make things easy for yourself. Then you have the concession not to fast that day. Make it easy for yourself and save yourself from elongating the fast, because the fast can become very long in that case. Yeah.
the loop of this is. You get it? Exempted completely.
No, we have big army.
Okay, some people had some questions. Yes, so no gargle. Yes, sorry, the students online, let me address your questions. It's okay, someone asked about that. Does the makeup makruh fasting? What do you mean makeup? Like women's makeup? If sister, if you can clarify that, makeup, does the makeup makruh fasting? I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about women's makeup, not necessarily if you're doing it at home, but keep one thing in mind. This is for the sisters, both brothers and sisters, spouses. They should avoid anything that will lead to invalidating the fast. And adults know what we're talking about. You should guard yourself from that thing. So if the sister knows that this will be a potential cause for my husband breaking his fast, then she should avoid those things, and the husband should understand that as well. A person should take precaution. You see, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's mentioned that he kissed Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu anha in the month of Ramadan while he was fasting. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even Aisha radiallahu anha, she alluded to this fact and point here that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was able to control himself. Nowadays, men, you hear stories, they're unable to control themselves. So you should avoid anything that will put your fast at risk, whether it's from the men's side or from the women's side. And many a time a woman might become a means of that, cause of that. So definitely if this will entail the fast being broken, yani leading to it being broken, then she should definitely avoid it. It'll be disliked. It'll be makruh in that case. Yes, someone asked about rosemary oil. Smelling the oil, it will not affect the fast. Smelling something, remember, as long as it doesn't have a physical entity, a physical body that's going in within your body, then it's okay. The issue with oud and cigarette smoke is that it has a physical body to it, and it's going into your nose or through your mouth. That's why it invalidates the fast. Rosemary oil, olive oil, these types of oils, they don't have that physical body.
If somebody is for the sick, if somebody became sick in the daytime,
Yes.
can he break the fast and do it?
Can you say that one more time?
If somebody falls sick in the daytime,
Yes.
he's fasting. If you break his fast,
Because each body is not a very big person,
Uh-huh.
but during fast you can
Yes.
break the
Yes, definitely. That's coming up, but we'll mention anyway, since the brother asked, is if a person commenced this fast, but all of a sudden becomes very, very sick, then remember, you have to gauge the level of sickness. If it's a slight cold, it's something that you can complete the day with, then there's no problem. You shouldn't break your fast because of that. But if it's something that's very, very risky to your health and your life, it's something severe, and you fear for your health becoming worse, you fear for your life, then in that case, you are allowed to break the fast due to necessity. Like in Farsi, they say, Zurur bashad rawa bashad. If there's a necessity, it becomes permissible. And this is a qaida in fiqh, al-darurat tubihu al-mahdurat. The necessities make the impermissible things permissible. So if it reaches that level and point, you have to gauge it, like I said, past experiences, consultation with a doctor. We mentioned who the doctor should be. Then in that case, you can break it. For example, person fears that he's going to let's say he fears starvation, he fears dehydration, these types of things, something very, very harmful, then in those cases, they are excused.
very severe pain, it's bearable for him. And
Headache?
yes, is unbearable for him.
Yeah, but it's due to the food, right? Not having food.
Just headache, normal headache,
Okay. It's a small headache?
severe headache.
Okay, like a migraine.
Like,
Okay, so he has to take medicine for that, right? Yeah, then of course, like, okay, again, you have to gauge it. That's like in the fiqh language, they say, مُفَوَّضٌ إِلَى رَأْيِ الْمُبْتَلَى بِهِ. It will be left to your sound judgment. You have to analyze the situation and see, because for example, you're describing some pain to me. I'm not going to feel your pain. You're the only one that can feel that pain. So I can't give you an accurate answer, like how you can tell for yourself. For example, for me, it might seem, oh, and that's not a big deal, just continue on. But for you, it's as if a mountain is sitting on your head. That's how severe it is. So you have to make the right decision with that regard. Yes, no gargling. When you're fasting, do not gargle the water. Just rinse it and do not let it go close to the throat. Is there a maximum time for fast? What do you mean maximum time? Oh, we should break it at Maghrib time. It's makruh, it's disliked to delay it unnecessarily, especially when the stars start coming out. That's a person should avoid it. Yes, if a woman do it, okay. But maximum time, like say for hypothetically speaking, if a person were to keep the fast all the way up until Isha time, you shouldn't do that. Or midnight, or even next Fajr. The fast is valid, but a person, they did something that's makruh, it's disliked, they should not do that. If we are fasting during Ramadan coming from Pakistan due to the time zone, like you mentioned, better to avoid. But if fasting, is there a maximum number of hours for the duration of the fast? Again, that's that's something you go with your local time zone. So local time zone, if it's daytime, how are you going to break your fast, for example? How are you going to break your fast? Scholars do mention one, there are a lot of gray areas, because back then they didn't have such type of travel modes and means where you're racing against time. One opinion is that you go according to your local time. For example, you measure the time and then you go accordingly. For example, you have your local watch and then you see, okay, how much, when is the fast time going to break according to my local time? You're calculating. They base this on the hadith regarding Dajjal. Remember the Sahaba inquired, what about the Salat? Remember the Prophet ﷺ said something to the effect that the days are going to be like this. Like, I don't want to misquote the hadith, but they're going to be very, very long. So the Sahaba, they were worried, okay, how are we going to do our Salat? So the Prophet ﷺ told them to calculate it. And based on that, an opinion is that one easy way is you have your local timing and then you go off of that, because the hours are typically the same. So you could do that, or you can go off your local timing. But to avoid these gray areas, again, this is a place of difference of opinion. You can go, but if you really want to fast, I mentioned one way, have your local time with you, go off of that. Or number two, local, your wherever you are in the airplane, the time of that locality. If you're coming from Pakistan, it's gonna be very, very long though. It's gonna be very difficult. So I don't know how a person is gonna do that. They're probably gonna be fasting, what, like 20 hours straight or something. So the best thing is to, if it's gonna be harmful for you, take the concession, make it easy for yourself, so you don't have to go through all of these things, all these confusions, and then just make it up when you come back.
Problem
Yeah.
is,
Yes.
the flow here
Yes.
at the noon. And it comes here, arrives at also at 1 or 2 p.m. at noon. So I'm basically on more the day, but I didn't start it before the Fajr. I have to start after Fajr.
Did you start your fast already? You're a Mukim in Bangladesh. You are not traveling as of it. The morning came, you are not a traveler.
The morning I was looking, I was not traveling, but then I had to start the fast. But I had a journey that was too long. That is too long. So what can?
So in that case, so you have those two options, like I mentioned. go according to the local time in the flight, or follow your local time based on where you came from. You can follow that as a measurement. You can follow that as well. And let's just say you decide to go the hard way. But such a condition comes upon you, such a difficulty comes on there, and you're like, man, I fear for my life now. I can't take this on. Then you'll be excused. You understand? So alhamdulillah, it's Allah Azza wa Jal, He does not want to punish us with this fast. There's scope if you feel that, okay, I can't do this any longer. Believe it or not, these European countries, a lot of these people, they fast like 18, 19 hours, subhanAllah. You're like, wow, how do these people do it? Such a long fast. So you have to look at your situation. These are areas where there's leeway to follow these opinions. Inshallah, you should be okay. Okay, I think generally you guys end around this time, 9 p.m., right? I don't want to go over the time. Jazakumullah khair, barakallahu feek. Inshallah, next class we'll discuss this more. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.